Now, new mums are constantly told breast is best when it comes to their child's development, and since 2010, no business establishment can discriminate against mothers breastfeeding at any age.
Okay, however, two mothers have been left shocked, have been left embarrassed after they were told to leave their local leisure centre after feeding their babies in the pool, the public pool, because it breached the pool's food and drink policy. No, leave me out of that. I would want a glass of that.
These
that's
ladies
fine.
are Chloe
It's not part of our food and drink policy. There's Chloe and Natalie, who join us from the hometown of Stoke.
Good morning.
Morning.
And in the studio we have journalist Virginia Blackburn, who says breastfeeding in public is just as bad as urinating in the street if you're doing it in a swimming pool. As she said, you can see she's here with a towel.
Really?
I didn't say it's just as bad. I said it's on a level with. I do think it's on a level with, actually. I mean, you have a sort of path that leads to increasingly antisocial behaviour, and I'd say that it's on that path.
But some people would say that is the most social of behaviour, actually.
Social to whom?
Rearing a child. I mean, you can't get any more social than being involved in a family and actually caring as a people.
What about being social to the people around you? I mean, if I'm sitting in a cafe or indeed swimming in a swimming pool, I don't want people to start engaging in bodily functions which have usually been kept private.
But it's a very natural bodily function
Yes,
to feed your child. It's the most natural.
There are many bodily functions that are natural, but we don't do them in front of other people.
Okay, well, let's talk to Natalie and Chloe. Tell us what happened. So you weren't in the pool together. These were separate occasions, but the same leisure centre. So, Natalie, let's start with you. What happened?
So I was at a baby swimming class. The pool was shut to the public, so it was just me and 5 other parents in there with their babies. Josiah was really distraught because he'd missed his nap. So I walked away from the rest of the swimming class. My back was towards the class. The water was at my waist high, so it just got Josiah's waist and legs in. The swimming teacher came over and said, I know you're breastfeeding, but you can't do that in here. You need to get out and feed on the side. So I carried on walking towards the edge of the pool with him still attached. We sat down on the side. Within a couple of minutes, he'd unlatched, and then it was time to go.
And what was your reaction when he said to you, you can't feed Josiah in the pool?
Really shocked, because I fed my other two till they were 3 and 3.5 nearly. And I think in the 8 years that I've been breastfeeding for, nobody's ever mentioned anything to me about not breastfeeding anywhere. So it was the first time that anybody had ever said anything. So I thought I'd be a bit more assertive, but I wasn't.
Well, it seems to be it's against the law, actually, because Virginia, according to the Equality Act, a business cannot discriminate against mothers who are breastfeeding a child at any age.
It's not about what's legal or illegal, it's about consideration for other people. I mean, as I said before, if you are in a public place, it's not something that you necessarily want to see. And the very fact that it happens so often that complaints are made shows that I'm not exactly alone in thinking this. I mean,
is this just the fact it was a swimming pool that you disagree with, or are you talking about breastfeeding generally?
No, I don't like breastfeeding in public at all, actually. I mean, there was an incident, I think, in a cafe a day or so ago. I mean, I'm not equating the two, but I've heard of instances where mothers have changed their child's nappy in a cafe. I mean,
but that's a very different thing.
It is, but
breastfeeding is a very different thing to somebody changing a dirty nappy.
Yes, I agree. As I said, it's a more extreme behaviour. But what I mean is that there's no consideration for people around you.
Well, let's talk to Chloe. Hi, Chloe. So. Virginia's saying you're not considering other people if you're breastfeeding your child, particularly in a swimming pool when there are other people around. What do you have to say about that?
Chloe, I don't know.
Can Chloe not hear us? Chloe, can you hear me now?
I can now.
Oh, you can hear me. So Virginia's saying that you're not considering other people's feelings if you're breastfeeding your child, particularly in a swimming pool. What do you say about that?
Breastfeeding is the most natural and normal thing anybody can do. I mean, it's only in the Western world that we have built up this idea as a society that breastfeeding should be done behind closed doors and it's something private between mother and baby. If you travel around the world, in many other countries you'll see parents freely breastfeeding their children in the street, in in cafeterias, wherever they feel like, and nobody bats an eyelid because it's a normal thing to do. You should not be ashamed of it, and it's not something that you should hide away for.
Now, you two, as young mums, and entering into this world with these young children, whatever, did you ever worry about doing this, think about doing this, and after all of this, would you think twice about doing it, or has it made you more determined?
It's quite a scary concept to breastfeed in public. I mean, you know that there's going to be certain people that don't agree with it, that are going to give you a second glance, but you just have to remember that you're doing the best thing by your own child. But no, it wouldn't put me off breastfeeding again. I fear for new and expecting mothers who are thinking of breastfeeding. I mean, because all you tend to see is negative press around breastfeeding. So really, we want to make something positive out of what's happened to say that we won't be ashamed of breastfeeding.
Let's just hear from our studio guest.
Yes, can I just ask the ladies a question? Would they breastfeed at a funeral?
Yes, I have done
Yes.
before.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
I think that's grossly disrespectful.
No.
I mean, I just think that's
Disrespectful
really...
in what way? For the other people who think that breastfeeding should be hidden away, if an
The people
adult
who are
has
there
an
to mourn
issue with a
someone.
child
The
being
people who are sitting in a
nurtured,
congregation
then
to
that is
mourn
their
someone.
own problem.
Sorry, Virginia.
If an adult has an issue, then that's their problem. It's no problem with the child or the mothers. If an adult can't physically bring themselves to look away,
I think it's disrespectful to
I mean,
the
that
other
would be
people there.
restricted.
If people are there to mourn someone at a funeral and they are having someone, breastfeeding beside them in a pew, I think that's a horrible way to behave.
Well, we're having a lot of comments coming in, a lot of comments, thousands actually. Donna says, you're not allowed food or drink in the pool. It's the same as breastfeeding a baby. I'm all for breastfeeding, but in the swimming pool, no. Holly says, you wouldn't eat your lunch in a pool. Breastfeeding mothers are fighting for equality and the right to breastfeed in public, which is great. But lunch is lunch, whether it comes out of your boob or you serve it up on a plate. So the issue, people have an issue here, Natalie, saying, nobody else would eat in a pool, and so that's why they have these regulations in a swimming pool, it's health and safety.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't eat in a pool, and breast milk's completely different from food or drink. And to put it on the same sort of spectrum shows a really uneducated view, really.
I was under the impression that breastfeeding was exactly the same as food and drink. I also want to take issue with something else that one of the ladies said, actually, which is that it's completely normal everywhere else in the world. I'm pretty well travelled myself, actually, and I cannot remember going anywhere else in the world where you see people openly breastfeeding. I mean, where are you thinking of?
Well, I've been thinking, where were you not thinking of?
in places.
Yeah. Well, look, listen.
For me, it's really accepted. So I fed Josiah in a pool in Spain, and nobody batted an eyelid. And in fact, many women have come over and commentated and said, "Oh, that's really good.
Okay.
Carry on doing that." Even
Toy,
though
Natalie, we're out of time. We're out of time. Thank you very much indeed, and thank you to Joshua for being so well behaved there as well. Stoke on Trent City Council say our policy's been that we ask people not to eat or drink in the pool, and we ask people not to breastfeed. We have many areas at our poolside where breastfeeding can take place, and actively promote and support this. We are reviewing our existing policies and have invited Natalie and Chloe to be part of that review. So, guys, good luck with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Virginia.
Virginia.
Thank you for your
Finally, Claire says, think of all the other bodily secretions in a pool. I think I'd rather swim in breast milk, thanks.
hoarding.